Hey everybody, what's going on? It is James here with Crypto Common Sense, and I wanted to sit down and shoot a update video for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market as a whole. Of course, today is July the 26th. So before I jump into the content, please remember I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, which means that nothing in this video is financial advice. You should always go out there and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor before making any type of investment in cryptocurrency. All right, so today is actually obviously a pretty good day for Bitcoin. The last couple of days have been good for Bitcoin. It's been a long and boring couple of months on the Bitcoin chart, but it's finally doing what I talked about back in June, and that is moving back toward that $45,000 to $49,000 zone. So we're going to take a look at a couple of charts, talk about what's happening, talk about what I foresee coming, etc., etc. The first chart that I really want to take a look at is this weekly chart. And I had shot a video a few days ago, and then I'm simply too busy to sit down, edit it, and get it uploaded. But it was talking about the fact that this was sitting on the bottom of the bear market box, and that I expected it to go up from there. It actually shocked me or surprised me a little bit. It came down. So moving right up from there, it actually did come back down and retest the bottom of this range again. So that was a little bit of a surprise. I think it fell all the way down around 29,000 or so. But we are moving up, and the good news is we are starting to peak out of this range, which is good. If you're bullish on Bitcoin, that's one thing that you'd want to see. If you're bearish on Bitcoin, I don't think it's a bad thing, right? It's what everybody should have expected, the bearish squeeze. And that's why I was saying for the last several weeks that I was waiting to get short, because I felt like there would be some type of liquidation move before that opportunity presented itself. So we did indeed bounce off the bottom. We are indeed moving back up toward the top of this bear market box, which is completely normal. You can see back here in the early part of 2018, it came up and tested it, and then the bear market continued. You can see here in 2019, came up to test it, and then the bear market continued. And this was a much smaller bear market. Obviously, this bear market only lasted about 9 months. But kind of the same thing here. I do expect that we're going to get up to the top of that box. And I'm still waiting for a retest of this 19-week moving average, which is now shifted down pretty hard. It's down around 43.8 thousand. I think that we'll probably throw a wick above that at the very least. I'm still really interested in this zone between 45,000 and 49,000 that I've been talking about for, I guess, 3 months now, really since May. I've been talking about that being retested. So, or is that 3 months? I guess that's more like 2 months, isn't it? Let's see. Yeah, more like 2 months, really. So I'm still waiting for that. On the 3-day chart itself, this looks really strong. Obviously came down to the bottom of the range, just like on the weekly, came down to the bottom of the bear market box just on the weekly, and now it's moved back up toward the top of the box. It's a little bit, I wouldn't say unusual to break out of the top of it, but it is a little bit odd how the weekly still has a little bit of room, but the 3-day doesn't. So it could be a case where this breaks out of this box and then falls back down inside of it, which we did see, back here in the summer of 2019, it came down. Of course, it hadn't made it very deep in the box, so this is a little bit different back here. What I would really say more than anything else, like this is the early 2018 market, test the top and then back down. What I would really say more than anything else is for those of you especially who are bullish on Bitcoin and want this to be, a new bull market to kick off, if it breaks out at the top of this 3-day box, I would watch for some type of retest to see if it can get support and then continue moving up from there. And we saw something like that back here in January where it broke out of the top, came down, retested, and then tried to move up. Of course, ultimately it did fail and fall back down to $4,000. But still, that's something that I would keep an eye on, right? We don't want to just blindly trade and blindly believe that this is going to continue going down. That's still my belief, but we always want to be open to the possibility that things are going to turn around, okay? So that's the 3-day chart. If we take a look at the daily chart, this is the CME. We'll take a look at this first. I love this chart. And the reason I love this chart is because, I think I did a video for my private members. I don't remember if I did one on YouTube or not. So I apologize if I didn't, but basically this death cross was coming, and I said, wait for it. You'll start seeing a lot of media outlets talking, negatively about Bitcoin. You'll start seeing the FUD. You'll start seeing, all the articles, and we saw that. We saw articles coming out talking about, bear markets. We saw articles coming out talking about the lowest volume in such and such months, and yada yada yada. And the whole thing with these death crosses, a 50 moving average and a 200-day moving average, they're very slow moving averages. And a lot of times, because they are lagging indicators, you end up getting the opposite of what you would expect by the name. The name is a death cross, and it's supposedly a very bearish development. But oftentimes when you get these crosses, the price does the exact opposite. I don't find them to be reliable in any way, shape, or form, right? And I don't find them to be reliable in the fact that, a death cross is bearish, I should be bearish. I don't find them to be reliable by saying, it's a death cross, I should be bullish. I just think they're nonsense more than anything else, right? More than anything, what you see with them is you see the media kind of playing off of them. But here's a death cross, and obviously if you'd have went short when that crossed and confirmed, you'd have been short right here. Absolutely awful place to be short. You'd be down 30 or 40% now, right? And then the last time there was a bull cross, right, or a golden cross, if you'd have been long there, that worked out fine long term, but the very next day it came down. Pretty big move down. I just don't think they're reliable. Here's a death cross, boom, up, right? Totally unreliable. But they are interesting to watch the media kind of gravitate and start writing articles about, this indicators come in on Bitcoin, blah, blah, blah. Who cares? All right, so this is the CME. Obviously, it has moved up. It's in this parallel channel. It has peaked out of the top of that channel, okay? But it is starting to fall back down, so I would keep an eye on this. It could be that this is the only move we get and that it does suddenly have more downside from here. I don't think that's what's going to happen. I really think that we will test, at the very least, that 19-week moving average, but we'll see. So that's one to keep an eye on. We still have these gaps sitting down around 23K. There's one down around 18K, and then, of course, there's this really low one down around 9,700 or so. So there are some gaps that are sitting there, but I view those as long-term targets. I don't view those as like, hey, that's going to get hit this week or this month, okay? Here's a regular daily chart. This is the spot chart over on Coinbase. And you can see here that same thing, right? Obviously, it's not going to be that different from chart to chart. Same range, right? We're at the top of the range. This white line has been on this chart for quite a while now. I don't know when I drew it exactly, but we're just sitting at the top of the range. We did break above the 50-day moving average. That's the first step in the right direction for bulls, right? Getting above that resistance level. The 200-day moving average is now sitting up around 44,600, right below this zone here, okay? And also right around that downward sloping trend line that started back in April. So that's a big level that would need to be taken out for the bulls. Right? If they take that out and get some kind of retest, it's very possible that they could take out this whole zone of supply. I think probably what will happen is it will act as resistance, and that could be a good place potentially for me to look for a short position. So we'll see what price action looks like if and when it gets there. Okay. As far as this consolidation down here, remember there's a couple possibilities with this. The first possibility, and the one that's probably, in my opinion, most likely, is this is simply redistribution and that it's going to continue going lower. I do think we'll get some kind of false break out of the top to trap bulls and then lower. But it is always possible that this is actually accumulation, right? And that we really could have another leg in a new bull market. I wouldn't say the same bull market. This bull market is over. Right, we shifted to a bear market. We have more than a 20% drop. We have negative sentiment in the market space. We have those qualifiers that qualified as a bear market. But do keep in mind anything is possible. And if we take out this trend line, it is possible that a new bull market starts. And it is possible that we do get some kind of weird, almost like a 2013 type of price action where it had a really bad crash in the middle of the year and then had like a 6-month really strong blow off top before everything really fell apart. Okay. I don't really think it's the same because it just, the market structure doesn't look the same, price action hasn't been the same, et cetera, but that's always a possibility. You want to protect yourself and not ever go too far in one direction. Okay, I think a lot of this volume down here, this can be very misleading. We see this big volume spike, And if you're reading like text online, they'll say, oh, high volume, high buying volume, it's a bullish sign. Well, I don't really view it as all that bullish yet. And the reason I don't view it as all that bullish is because if you look at that volume, a lot of it was really nothing more than liquidations, okay? You had a lot of bears who were short and they got liquidated, which forced them to buy Bitcoin, and that pushed the price up. And that's why you get these big, steep moves. That's why they call them bear squeezes, all right? If we go look at a 5-minute chart, you'll see just how fast that move happened. These are 5-minute candles. Look at this, just boom, straight up, right? And again, if I put volume on there, you're gonna see it right here. It spiked, so almost no volume, then some big volume. This is 479, 497, and then boom, 1.7K, right? This is the biggest volume bar we've seen in months and months and months on a 5-minute chart. And again, it went almost straight up. This from back here to over here was like less than 2 hours, almost 15%. If we go over to coinalyze.net, which again is a free site that people can check out, we can look at Bitcoin and we can see that the Bitcoin liquidations were massive. Over $500 million in shorts were liquidated so far today. Okay, over $500 million in shorts were liquidated. And if we put it on a 5-minute or 24-hour timeline, we'll see these are 15-minute blocks. We can see that almost all those liquidations happened down here around 12:45 to 1:15 UTC time. Okay, there was literally about $250 million liquidated right in this zone, which is where you saw this giant spike right here. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what I think. I think it's a liquidation move. I think it's a short squeeze, and I think it's designed to get people bullish on Bitcoin, get people buying Bitcoin, covering their short positions. I do think it's very possible that it will pop out of the top here, go all the way back up to that 45 to 49K zone. May get stopped by the 19-week moving average, but I think it'll probably throw a wick above it. Maybe get stopped by the 200, and you'll get people who are suddenly start going long because it's broke out of the range, and I think that is when they'll turn it back down and really crush those people. Okay, we'll see. That's kind of my opinion on it. I'm definitely a little bit relieved to see it moving back up, because I was starting a little bit nervous. I was starting to wonder if I was wrong and it was just going to keep moving down. And of course, as I've said all along, I have not been riding a short. I've been waiting for that move to 45 to 49K. So I was starting to get a little bit of a FOMO almost, for a short. Like, gosh, should I just go ahead and short this thing, or, what's going on? And luckily for me, I made that mistake in the past, and it's not a mistake I care to ever repeat. So instead of, FOMOing into a short position, I was very, very patient, and I waited. And I'm still waiting, and I may still miss it, right? This may be the move, then it may move down here, and then I will still miss that short position. Fortunately, obviously I'm trading other time frames as well, not just position trading Bitcoin. But yeah, ideally I would like to see this pop back up to these levels, and then we can kind of go from there. All right. I did want to say in this video, guys, if you've kind of wondered why the videos have been a little bit sporadic lately, there's a few reasons for that. Number one, I have been a little bit busier with some other stuff. A friend of mine launched a token. I was not in any way involved with it, but he launched a token. They had some, trouble out of the gate. Some stuff happened. I'm not going to get into a big old long story about it, but bottom line, I've been trying to help kind of turn that around and help to get some positive momentum for that token, so that people I know who invested in it, are able to make some good money off of it. I started a membership program with a former student who's now a phenomenal trader. We started that last month. I did some videos about it talking about Pancake Profits. So kind of been busy with that a little bit, and obviously trying to do some trading myself, right? And then obviously on top of that, for me, summer is always kind of a more relaxed time. I try not to be at the desk nonstop. So that's it. That's what's going on. The other thing is some of you know this and some of you might not realize this, but I truly thrive off of interaction. The reason that I like doing these videos so much the last 4 years is because I like interacting with people. I like reading comments, even critical comments, as long as they're respectful. I like having conversations with people, and I like helping people and saying that I'm helping people. And it seems like the longer I've done this channel, the videos still get a really good, thumbs up ratio. Usually the videos get over 90-95% thumbs up. So I appreciate that, but there's not a lot of comments. And sometimes it feels like I'm talking just to hear my voice, which I don't like doing. So, the more you interact with the channel, the more it amps me up to do more content. Okay, so keep that in mind. With all that being said, I am going to go ahead and wrap up here. I think I pretty much covered what I needed to cover. I hope everything is going well for you and you're having a lot of luck with this market. It's been a tough one to trade with all this ranging going on. So hopefully you're doing well. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And of course, don't forget, you can check the link for a description where you can join Patreon for just $7 a month. You can also join Pancake Profits down there. And as I said at the beginning of the video, please remember, I am just some guy sitting in a spare bedroom, which means nothing in the video is financial advice. You should always go out and do your own due diligence and seek out professional financial advice from a licensed financial advisor for making any type of investment in cryptocurrency, the stock market, or precious metals. This is James with Crypto Common Sense, reminding you to please trade safe.